Sports.
It's Howie Kendrick Kite Night. Gooby is all excited, not only for that, but for the Goo Goo Dolls concert after the game. The Halos 5-2 on his home stand tonight, look to make it 2 in a row against the Tampa Bay Rays. Zach Greinke, of course, before the game today, introduced to the media. The media had a chance to ask him all kinds of questions, and Zach was very forthright. Obviously, he's happy to be in Southern California. And we'll talk about the extension down the road. He's not sure if the Angels have actually approached his agent about an extension. We welcome you inside the Big A once again for Angels baseball on Fox Sports West. Victor Rojas and Mark Gubitza. Not flying the kite yet, are you?
No, but I'm pretty excited about it.
I know you are. Let's talk a little bit about Zach Greinke. Not only what he brings to the table, but how it really shakes up this rotation for the Halos.
Victor, great competitor, ace-type stuff, athletic on the mound. What he does now is give the Angels that fortified rotation. You got a top-of-the-line guy go along with Jerry Wade. We have 5 guys now in this rotation that have made the All-Star game. So they're that good. Each one of them has their out pitches. Each one can go out there and compete and get deep into the ball games. That's the big thing for Zach Greinke. Dan Herron has been throwing the ball exceptionally well. We talked about this the other day. They might need to get 2 starting pitchers. Dan Herron had the back issue. Urban Santana struggling. But in the last 12 innings for Dan Herron, just 3 earned runs and that split finger fastball, which is so important to tell you that he's able to get out that front leg and the back is no longer an issue. The therapy he did has enabled him to get back to being the Dan Herron that we've expected to see and be that good. And I mentioned the fact is this rotation right now, and then you mix in Urban Santana if he comes back and pitches the way he's capable. Every one of these guys can dominate a game. Everyone has multiple out pitches, and when you have that type of ability, you all of a sudden lessen what you need out of your bullpen. 3 to 6 outs, that's going to be important for this club.
You mentioned Urban Santana. He's slated to get to start against the Texas Rangers in the opening game of that 4-game series down in Arlington on Monday. Then the rest of the rotation will follow. Tonight it'll be C.J. Wilson towing the slab for the Halos. Matt Moore in a battle of lefties for the Rays. Just about ready for baseball here at the Big A, so sit back and relax. Lineups and first pitch when we return. set between the Halos and the Tampa Bay Rays. The Angels taking 2 of 3 from Texas to start this homestand. Took 2 of 3 from the Kansas City Royals. And a win tonight, of course, will lock down another series victory. C.J. Wilson and the Angels getting ready to take the field to face these Rays that have been struggling offensively all season long. And, of course, they've played the majority of the season without their everyday third baseman, Evan Longoria, with a partial tear in his hamstring. So, obviously, that, no pun intended, or perhaps maybe there is, hamstrings your offense.
I would say so.
Just a little bit.
What he could do offensively for Joe Madden, no question about not having him in that lineup for him. Change the way he can go about trying to create runs for the team.
Let's take a look at Joe's starting 9. The Rays at 51 and 49, 9.5 back of the Yankees in the East. Desmond Jennings leading things off in left field. It's B.J. Upton in center. Ben Zobrist at DH. Jeff Keppinger, who homered last night, had a 3-hit game, is playing first. He's the cleanup hitter. Ryan Roberts over at third base. Sean Rodriguez, the former Halo, at shortstop. Matt Joyce in right field. Brooks Conrad at second base. And Jose Molina, the former Angel himself, is batting ninth and doing the catching. As C.J. Wilson will take the mound tonight. Still looking for that 10th win of the season. Still in the top 10 as far as ERA at 2.89.
Real good numbers against Tampa Bay in his career. 4-1 with an ERA 2.30. It's held in the 179 batting average against him. This Rays lineup does a great job as far as keeping the ball down. We talked about it on the pregame show, the necessity for him to get a lot of ground ball outs. When he does that, an opportunity to work quickly and get deep in the game.
Take a look at the defense behind C.J. Wilson this evening. Vernon Wells back at the starting lineup. He is in left. Mike Trout at center. Torrey Hunter is in right. The infield consists of Alberto Callasco, Meister Sturris, Howie Kendrick, and Albert Pujols from third to first, and Bobby Wilson behind the plate.
And keeping up with that theme for the need for ground balls. And Alberto Callasco has been very active, especially with C.J. on the hill. He's been great of late. Fielding percentage 961 to 7 errors in that third base position. Strong arm. Comes in very well on the baseball bunt or slow roller to third base also.
Well, CJ's ready to go. We'll talk about his last couple of starts. No decision against the Royals. Gave up 3 runs on 9 hits and 6 2/3. Struck out 6 and walked 1. We had talked about during the pregame show that his walk totals have kind of spiked a little bit. He's had some games in which the control has gone away from him. Go back 2 starts ago at Comerica Park, he walked 5 and struck out 7. He's had a couple of games in which he has walked 5. 3 to be exact. He'll face Desmond Jennings to lead things off here. This is a Rays team that has hit .225 against left-handed pitching this year. Overall, as a team, the Rays at .232, 12th in the American League. Jennings swinging first pitch, hits one out to left center field, and Vernon can't get it. And he goes all the way to the wall. Jennings with very good speed will stop at second as he slams on the brakes. And it's a leadoff double for Jennings.
Boy, jumping on the fastball. First swing there against CJ, and the ball got by Vernon Wells in left field. Elevated fastball, the need to get that fastball down, and Jennings with some good power hits it to left center field. Vernon Wells unable to cut that one off to prevent Jennings from just being held at first base, instead of double. Now the pressure on with a man on second and no outs.
So B.J. Upton will step in. Upton had an 0 for 4 night last night, showing bunt. Pushes it on the first base side, and this might go for an infield hit, and it will. So 2 pitches and 2 hits for the Rays.
That's going to be a difficult play for a pitcher, especially a left-handed pitcher, to be able to be there on time, especially once Pujols gets. That's the only play you have is if Howie's going to be there, but he's playing up the middle, so great decision by Upton, utilizing his speed. Worst case scenario, he was going to get Jennings at third base with 1 out. Instead, gets a base hit out of it.
So good speed on the bases for the Rays. Tops in the American League and stolen bases as a team. 84 bags. Upton has 16 of them. And the first one is inside to Zobrist. The switcher played second base last night, serving as a DH tonight. Got a 1-for-4 game. Double against Dan Harrod in the 6th inning last night. A .246 average, 11 home runs, and 39 runs batted in. Zobrist hits one out to center field. That will bring home a run. Jennings will tag, and the Rays have themselves a 1-0 lead. Zobrist with a sac fly picks up his 40th run batted in.
When Zobrist come in as a .211 hitter against CJ, gets the job done with a sacrifice fly, giving the Rays the early lead similar to last night's game. B.J. Upton, who had that bunt hit, was 0 for 14 in his career versus CJ, but that was a decision not only to get the job done as far as advancing the runner to third and then getting that run across, but end up getting a base hit out of it too.
So 1 out, 1 on, and Jeff Keppinger, the first baseman, steps to the plate. Keppinger hitting .330 after his 3-for-4 game last night. Looks at a fastball that just misses in off the plate. 4 home runs for Keppinger, 20 runs batted in.
CJ with 3 pickoffs this year. B.J. Upton with 16 stolen bases and 21 attempts. Good count for action if you're the Rays here.
Upton takes off. The pitch is low. The third out from Wilson. Not in time. Upton had a pretty good jump. He moves into scoring position with the stolen base.
We're going on first movement. Picked the right time to go. Easily slides in there. 17 stolen base on the season for Upton. 13th stolen base that CJ has allowed in 21 attempts.
Two and one. Keppinger, a Georgia native, originally in the Pirates system. 4th round pick.
Well, Keppinger with pretty good numbers against CJ, similar to what he had against Dan Herron last night. It's 5 for 16, .313 career batter against CJ Wilson. That contact hitter doesn't strike out a whole lot.
Pickoff attempt. CJ's throw is just a little bit tardy. Just joining us, 1-0 Rays. Leadoff double by Desmond Jennings to the alley in left center field. B.J. Upton with a bunt base hit. Ben Zobrist with a sacrifice fly. This one pulled over to third. Upton decided to break towards third, and he's caught in a rundown. Cayaspo applies the tag, 2 outs.
Well, you talk about doing a perfect job on a rundown. What Cayaspo was able to do to keep B.J. Upton from getting in a long rundown and allow Keppinger get the second base in scoring position himself. Fielded the ball and ran right at Upton and applied the tag. Textbook as far as preventing that runner from getting that extra base on a rundown.
That's pretty poor base running on the part of Upton, already in scoring position. And a routine ground ball right at Cayaspo. So the Angels will take then 2 outs. Keppinger replaces Upton on the bases. He's at first base. And here's Ryan Roberts, the third baseman.
Looked like BJ was anticipating the throw across the diamond and going over there, but you're in scoring position like you mentioned, Victor.
Roberts 1 for 8 since joining the Rays. At the Arizona Diamondbacks. Mentioned that injury to Evan Longoria. Roberts, the 8th different third baseman used by the Rays this season. Rays have done it primarily with their pitching staff, 2nd overall in team ERA. Roberts takes that pitch down and in. 1 ball, no strikes.
1-0 pitch. Down low. 2 balls and no strikes. RBI for Zobrist, his 40th of the year. Kepinger's not taking a large lead whatsoever over at first base. Bobby Wilson is behind the plate. The Angels making a couple of moves today on the roster as Chris Iannetto is activated off the DL. This one's line to left. Vernon almost dead in his tracks, makes the grab. The inning comes to an end. We'll talk about those transactions when we return. But as we return to the bottom of the first inning, the Angels are down 1-0. Scioscia starting 9 for tonight's ball game. Mike Trout leading things off in center field. Torrey Hunter's in right. Albert Pujols at first base. Mark Trumbull will serve at the DH tonight. Howie Kendrick at second. Alberto Callasco at third. Vernon Wells in the starting lineup in left field. Meister Sturz is at short. And Bobby Wilson is batting ninth, doing the catching as they take on the 23-year-old left-hander, a guy who has bounced around but went to high school in New Mexico. His name is Matt Moore.
Matt Moore has elite type stuff from the left side. Fastball 91 to 97, curveball, changeup, occasional slider. Well, he made a big splash coming into the Rays rotation during the postseason last year and had that very good game against the Texas Rangers.
Mike Trout 1 for 4 last night, hitting .354 on the season. 16 home runs and 49 runs batted in. Halos faced Moore earlier this year. That was on April the 26th as the first one is in for a strike. Moore in that start against the Angels. Got a no decision. 5 2/3 innings. 3 runs, 2 earned on 5 hits. As Trout fouls this one back. And it snowballs at 2 strikes. And what you will see from Matt Moore, especially for a young man exposed to the big leagues late last year and into the postseason, is a very composed individual with near flawless mechanics. Very easy looking on the mound. And he gets Trout swinging to start this ball game off, and there's the first out. We'll take a look at the Rays defensively. It's Jennings, Upton, and Joyce in the outfield for the Rays from left to right. The infield consists of Roberts, Zobrist, Conrad, and Keppinger from third to first, with Molina doing the catcher.
And B.J. Upton in center field has one of the strongest arms in that center field position. 7 outfield assists this year. There's 2 E's for him. 16 outfield assists in 2008. Very good as far as when he comes in on the baseball. The only time that Dino Ebel will take that chance going extra base is when he's going back on the baseball.
Torrey looks at a strike to even a count at 1-1. Hunter 2 for 4 last night, extending his inning streak to 6 games. A .281 overall average. 11 home runs at 44 driven home as he fouls this one off to the right.
The unusual thing for Matt Moore, he's all the way over on the left by the third base side of the pitching rubber, which is unusual for pitchers left-handers, usually on the first base side of the pitching rubber. It allows him to get inside on right-handed batters, similar to what you see with sinker ballers, right-handed sinker ballers, when they move to the other side of the rubber, be able to make sure they get inside on left-handed batters.
Doesn't waste a whole lot of time. Another 1-2 on the way, and Torrey bounces this one foul right to Albert Pujols. And the count remains at 1 ball, 2 strikes. And with the Angels now at 10 games over 500, 4 back in the West, become more of a scoreboard watcher. We are past the All-Star break as that one's down at 2-2. You look up in Texas trailing the White Sox. Paul Konerko with a 2-run home run. Adam Dunn has added a 3-run shot. It's 5-0 Chicago. And that game currently in the top of the 5th inning.
Yeah, once you get past that 100 game mark too, and it's the 101st game of the year for the Angels, you start thinking about that.
Toward the hole. Nice play by Rodriguez, and the throw gets away. Pardon me, Zobrist. Rodriguez, I had it right the first time. Zobrist serving as the DH.
Keppinger unable to make that pick from that low throw from Rodriguez. Strong throwing arm, was able to get back on the baseball on the backhand. Tried to set himself up with that short hop. Keppinger was unable to scoop that. And Torrey's able to be safe at first, giving Pujols an opportunity here.
Torrey getting credit for a hit. So make that a 7-game hitting streak. He's on board. And Albert Pujols at the plate. I guess in my mind, I had written out Joe Maddon's lineup thinking that maybe Ben Zobrist was the better option at shortstop, and that's why I just penciled him in.
Well, Zobrist plays a million different positions there for him. He plays, that's one of the things about Joe Maddon. All his position players can play a number of spots. Sean Rodriguez has played third base, he's played short, he's played second, he's played some first.
Yeah, at least I got it right. Eventually.
You got there.
Just work with me. You know. It beats not saying anything and just assuming I had it right. In case you're just joining us, Sean Rodriguez is playing short for the Rays. Well, that was a pretty quick throw to first.
Moore's another left-hander. You could be successful stealing the base against him also. 12 steals in 15 attempts. Does have 1 pickoff. Jose Molina behind the plate has thrown out a little over 30% of would-be base stealers. So it's going to be a challenge tonight.
Halo's second behind the Rays in team stolen bases with 79.
They seem to want to throw over a lot when Torrey's at first base for some reason, the Rays pitchers. I asked Torrey about that what happened with last night with Farnsworth. He said he kept throwing it over. He initially wasn't going to go. He said at that point, I might as well try to steal a base.
He must remind the Rays of an older Peter Borges.
I think so.
You think so? Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike on Albert Pujols. We'll check in on our Hyundai key to the game.
We have to go a little goo-goo dolls today. Smash. Big thing against a pitcher like Matt Moore. He doesn't make many mistakes. So when you get that mistake, you got to smash it out of the ballpark. He's given up 13 home runs this season.
Hence the title.
Smash.
Smash.
Yes.
Rays up 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. Torrey over at first base, and Albert swings through that one. A ball and 2 strikes. Albert looks a little frustrated that he chased a pitch up and out of the strike zone.
When if you're Moore, do you go back upstairs with another fastball, or do you throw that slow curveball? The dangers of that slow curveball down and in, that's where Pujols can drive that ball out to left field.
And he did go upstairs, and down goes Pujols. 2 outs.
Boy, this is such a smooth delivery. Then that fastball rushes it up there at 95 miles an hour. Boy, his great numbers as far as the punch out in his career in the minor leagues, too. The guy that can rush that fastball upstairs, but also because of the plane he starts his curveball at, it's upstairs and then it breaks down below the knees. A sharp break on his curveball.
0-1 count on Trumbo. 1 for 3 last night, including an RBI. A 307 average, 27 home runs, and 69 runs batted in.
Trumbo 2 for 3 against Matt Moore, including a home run and a double.
No balls and 2 strikes. Changeup and then a fastball upstairs. 2 pitches that Trumbo has seen so far.
And the changeup was 85. That fastball was at 95.
And he got him with a breaking pitch. We saw 3 different pitches, 3 strikeouts for Moore as Torrey is stranded at first. 1 complete. The Rays lead it 1-0.
Well, yeah, great stuff. 95 on the fastball. That was a big breaking ball he was able to strike out Trumbo with the end of the inning.
T.J. Wilson to face John Rodriguez, Matt Joyce, and Brooks Conrad. Gave up a run in the first inning, a double by Jennings, a bunt single by Upton, a sac fly by Zobrist. Rodriguez hitting .210 on the year, getting to start at shortstop in case you missed it. 6 home runs and 27 runs batted in. Looks at an off-speed pitch in for a strike. Mentioned, and we didn't get an opportunity to do so because of the lineups and all the things that happened in the bottom of the first inning. The moves that the Angels have made today. As Rodriguez takes outside, it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Chris Iannetta is active. John Hester was optioned down to AAA Salt Lake City. And with Zach Greinke in the house and sporting the number 23, Angels had to make a move to add Greinke to the roster. Hisanori Takahashi has been optioned. to AAA Salt Lake, as Rodriguez now has a 2-ball, 1-strike count. There's Chris Iannetta.
Well, it's good to see him back. Big part of this team and the opportunity to score some more runs at the bottom part of that lineup.
CJ gets ahead of Rodriguez at 0-1. Now has taken the count to 3 balls and 1 strike.
Throwing 2 changeups to Rodriguez in the sequence of pitches that he pulled across his body, not over the front leg, which is an important thing for a changeup.
And he walked him. Leadoff walk to Sean Rodriguez, hitting .210. Puts a man on, and that'll bring up Matt Joyce. Hey, groups of 25 or more can enjoy Angels baseball all summer long for as low as $8 per seat. To book a group outing today, call 888-796-HALO or visit angels.com/groups. And I mentioned Sean Rodriguez's batting average as he draws the walk. And this is a team, as we pointed out, that has struggled offensively all season long. You would think the mindset of a starting pitcher, not being C.J. Wilson today, I'm just saying mindset going into a start like this is I got to be aggressive and stay aggressive throughout.
Yeah.
Don't start nibbling.
No, especially when you look at their stats. They will walk. But the reality is that means they're probably taken early in the count, so you can establish your fastball. You don't have to go middle part of the plate. You go towards a corner and get ahead of the count and then stay a little bit further towards that corner. You don't have to go completely out of the strike zone. To stay aggressive, and then once you really get ahead of the count, that's when you start expanding.
Rodriguez takes off, and a throw from Wilson gets into center field. Meister Asturias does not knock the ball down, so it's stolen base and an error to Wilson. Bobby didn't seem to have a very good grip on that baseball. But that's a ball you need to knock down as an infielder, especially knowing that you don't really have a play at second base.
Well, there's no way Bobby has any chance at all to throw out Rodriguez with that big jump. And then Meister's thought process said you just go right out and catch that baseball even in front of the base because you're not going to get him out.
You got to throw the body in front of it. So the Angels will bring their infield in. That tells you the stuff that they feel Matt Moore possesses tonight. 0-2 count to Joyce. He lays off, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And it also tells you that Joe Maddon's going to be aggressive. Even though C.J. Wilson is a left-handed pitcher, they're going to try to steal some bases. 2 stolen bases already in this game against C.J.
The error for Bobby Wilson, his 4th of the year. Here's the 1-2. Joyce takes a breaking pitch down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Joyce went 0 for 3 last night, hitting .275 on the year with 11 home runs and 35 runs batted in. And from 0-2 to 3-2. Popped up on the left side of the infield. Asturias drops the baseball. Rodriguez will score, and it's 2-0 Rays.
Well, it's a tough one as a manager of a club to see that happen. Meister usually very good hands no matter where Mike Scioscia puts them. The thing is, he has both hands there at the. It's not like he was just trying to catch it with one hand. He had both hands in position to make that play. Unusual to see Meister make a mistake.
Second error of the inning. No RBI for Joyce. As a leadoff walk comes back around to score.
Joyce with 4 stolen bases in 5 attempts. I mentioned Joe Maddon will be aggressive against CJ. CJ last year with Texas gave up 24 stolen bases in 31 attempts, which is a high number for a left-handed pitcher.
Brooks Conrad, the second baseman, taking a strike, playing his 23rd game as a member of the Rays. The error by Asturis, his 7th of the year. And really his non-play of the throw from Bobby Wilson is what allowed Rodriguez to get to third base. It's a tough inning for Meiser.
Said usually dependable. Mike Scioscia likes putting Meiser anywhere in that infield.
Nobody out here in the second, as this one's a little check swing foul that goes back to the screen. The count remains at 0-2. Conrad got into the game last night as a pinch hitter. Ended up popping out. One and two.
Well, CJ could use one of those double play balls. We talked about it in the pregame show. 51 in the last 2 years. 31 last year, 20 so far this year.
Two balls, two strikes. Wilson's thrown 28 pitches, 14 strikes, 14 balls. It's that pattern that we were talking about that we were hoping you could get over. That's not been helped out in this inning. Leadoff walk, and a stolen base, the error by Wilson, the error by Asturis. Taking off is Joyce. To throw down is in time. Strike him out, throw him out, double play, 2 down.
Not quite the jump. Joyce is looking in. Bobby Wilson not only it's a good throw, good transfer, and a quick, perfect throw to Howie Kendrick at second base. A low throw right at the base. It allows him to be able to apply the tag. Well, Matt Joyce get the second out of the inning.
Molina takes one downstairs. 190 on the year. Playing his 61st game this season. 4 home runs and 16 runs batted in. Bounces this one to the right side. CJ has got it. And the inning comes to an end, but not before the Rays tack on a run. They lead it 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the second. Moore is concluding his warm-up tosses. As Howie Kendrick is scheduled to lead things off. Moore with 3 strikeouts, 1 hit allowed in the first inning. He'll face Kendrick, Callaspo, and Wells here in the second. Howie hitting .274 on the year with 5 home runs and 35 runs batted in. Looks at a strike. Howie went 0 for 3 yesterday. 16 doubles, a couple of triples on the year. Keppinger way off the line at first. As Howie taps it foul at the plate. It snowballs 2 strikes. Matt Moore's last start was on July 22nd against Seattle. And he took the loss in that one. Gave up 2 runs on 5 hits in 8 innings of work. That's a tough loss. 7 strikeouts, no walks in that start. Howie fouls it off to the right.
Mentioned how compact his delivery, how quiet his delivery is on the mound. Also, one thing for Moore is, though, he does throw a lot of high fastballs. Now, there's a certain spot. If you go upstairs, you can get a hitter to swing, miss, or pop it up. But if you bring it down at all, that's the baseball that's going to be hit hard.
Tried to come down and in with that fastball.
Well, he's been very good his last 9 starts, 5-2 with an ERA 3.70. The first 10, though, just inconsistent for him. ERA 4.76.
Breaky pitch pulled over to third. Ryan Roberts has it. And there's the first out of the second inning. Before tonight's game, talking about some of the things the Angels Baseball Foundation do. Jason Molina Flores throwing out the ceremonial first pitch. We'll see if the Make-A-Wish Foundation suffered from cancer, 8 years of age, from Santa Maria, California. Nickname is Binky and is a lifelong Angel fan. Getting a chance to throw out that ceremonial first pitch.
Chance to meet and greet a lot of Angels, all his friends. Certainly wish him the best.
He turned down things like Hawaii and Disney World to throw out the ceremonial first pitch here.
And did a great job.
Yep.
Great job.
Callaspo fouls off this pitch, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike. Callaspo went 0 for 3 yesterday, and 254 on the season. 7 home runs and 32 runs batted in. Alberto a .300 average from the right side of the plate. 38 for 80 with 4 of his 7 home runs. And Moore walks him. First base on balls issued by Moore. I'll bring up Vernon Wells, seeing action in the big leagues for the first time since May 20th, and that was the Sunday afternoon game in San Diego, in which the Angels ended up losing, and ended up losing that series against the Padres. Lost the next day in Oakland, and we were thinking that 10-day road trip, looking at that point, the Angels needed it to be a 7-3 road trip. It looked like it was going to be a 3-7 road trip, and then the Angels went off to take the next 2 against the A's, the next 4 against Seattle, and went on a run. Vernon was sliding into second base on the stolen base, was getting up. He was successful on that stolen base, and then hurt his thumb on the left hand, ended up having to have surgery, and subsequently being placed on a 60-day disabled list.
Yeah, he's put up some pretty good numbers in his rehab assignment in AAA, especially some power numbers.
Fouls this one off to the right. That's 1 ball, 1 strike. 244 on the year for Wells. 6 home runs, 12 runs batted in, 6 doubles. 38 games prior to the injury. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So far, even though it's early in the game, Moore's done a nice job as far as going upstairs with that fastball. 94, 95, 96.
Fouled back. Got on top of that one. And that's the one thing that Mike Scioscia kept talking about with both Chris Iannetta and Vernon Wells on rehab assignments. Well, this was actually prior to going out on a rehab assignment. When were they going to go, and how many at-bats, and how long were they going to be out? You could have 10 at-bats in the minor leagues, 100 at-bats in the minor leagues, but you don't get your timing until you see big league pitching. As Vernon strikes out, and there are 2 outs. And that's the truth for anybody, regardless of what numbers that they put up. Minor league pitching is completely different than that at the big league level.
Yeah, the big thing in the minor leagues, in fastball counts, they're throwing a fastball. And at the big league level, a fastball count, you may get a changeup, you may have a curveball, you may get a cut fastball. All those adjustments you have to make, and the game is so much quicker at the major league level.
Meiser Sturis hitting from the right side against the left-hander Moore, who's just picked up his 4th strikeout. Callaspo standing at first base. Meiser 0 for 3 last night as Moore checks in on Alberto. .232 average for Sturis, a home run and 14 runs batted in, will be getting a lot of playing time at shortstop. He and Andrew Romine, I would imagine. With Eric Ibar on the shelf. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Eric was out on the field today. Looked like he was walking pretty good. Didn't notice a limp at all for him, so maybe 15 days and right back into action for Eric Ibar. He's one of the toughest competitors you're going to find. Very difficult to keep him down long.
Chopper to the right side, and Keppinger has it in the inning. Will come to an end. The Angels get a man on for the 2nd straight inning, leave him stranded. 2 in the books. The Rays are on top 2-0. Sugar Rush trying to figure out Matt Moore. Haven't seen many of the kites up in the area.
Not yet.
We setting some sort of Guinness Book of World Record tonight by most kites flown in one gathering?
You never know. We've been part of a number of them.
Yeah, right. Desmond Jennings, the leadoff man, saw 1 pitch in the first and doubled to the alley in left center field. Came around to score on the sac fly by Zobrist. 1 for 1. The double, his 10th. And snowballs 2 strikes. Jennings, Upton, and Zobrist here in the third for Tampa Bay.
Jennings with a lot of talent. He's got power. He's got tremendous speed. Good defender in the outfield. He's looking to be more consistent, making more contact, and utilizing his speed that he has.
64 strikeouts and 285 at-bats for Jennings. A .309 on-base percentage. Apparently Wilson and Wilson unable to get together on the same sides. Got a ball and 2 strikes. 2-2 now.
That's one of those fastballs. When you have that type of movement at 93, you just throw it at the middle of the plate. Look at that late action he had on that. But it's difficult for an umpire to call it a strike when it starts in the corner.
Called strike 3. Jennings is rung up. 1 out. There's the second strikeout of the night for CJ. Both looking. A little bit of a delayed call by Phil Cuzzy.
But that was perfect location. The adjustment he made on this fastball right here. Good balance for CJ. Did a nice job of keeping his eyes on the target. That front shoulder was closed in very well and over the front leg effectively downstairs at the knees with that fastball.
B.J. Upton had a bunt single in the first inning. Also a stolen base.
Now, conversely, on that pitch right there, he didn't follow through with his changeup. That's the pitch you really have to get over the front leg. You have to bend your back to be successful on that pitch.
3 balls and no strikes. That game in Texas now in the top of the 7th with the White Sox leading at 5-1. Upton fouls one off to the right. Oakland leading the Baltimore Orioles 6-0. That game is in the 9th.
Oakland is on some kind of roll. They've been consistent driving the ball out of the ballpark. Those good young pitchers have done a nice job starting games and a solid bullpen for them.
3-2. Called strike 3. Down goes Upton. Back-to-back strikeouts for CJ. 2 down.
Well, nice adjustment throughout that sequence for C.J. Wilson. The second pitch he threw to B.J. Upton, a changeup, did not follow through, but that last one was perfect for him. Right on the outside part of the plate with late movement. That's the trust C.J. has to have in his talents. He can sink the fastball so well, spot his changeup and his breaking pitches, and live around knee level and then go below that and get ground balls.
Off-speed pitch missing away. Zobrist with a sacrifice fly in the first inning. .252 hitter from the right side of the plate this season as CJ falls behind at 2-0. Two and one. Rays with 2 hits. The Angels with 1. Rays with solo runs in the first and second innings. 2-2. A tapper foul. A good pitch, good location. 2 had Zobrist fooled on it. Just got a piece of it.
You're going to get those type of swings when you start to work ahead of the count, establishing your fastball, because then you have to respect that as a hitter And then if you could start throwing your changeup and your curve and slider for strikes, you're going to be late on a lot of your fastballs.
Just missed downstairs, a full count. Jeff Keppinger, the first baseman's on deck.
It's a fourth full count in the game so far already for CJ.
His 49th pitch is rolled foul. He's getting ready to throw his 50th pitch of the night here in the third. Just checking out the out-of-town scoreboard with the White Sox leading Texas in the seventh. The Tigers lost again today. 3 consecutive losses for them. They could lose a game in the standings. In Cleveland about to lose to Minnesota. This one's driven out to straightaway center field, chasing Trout back near the wall. Leaps up and he can't get it. It's a solo home run for Zobrist. And it comes with 2 outs here in the third. 3-0 Rays.
Well, he pitched out over the plate, but down. Zobrist with 2 good at bats so far against CJ. Sac fly in the first inning, now a home run here in the third. His second career home run against CJ Wilson. Well, it was down, but it got too much in the inner part of the plate. The 8th pitch that Zobrist saw. Trout running hard into that wall. Thought he had a beat on it. Still early enough, you're going to see some carry into the outfield tonight.
So back-to-back strikeouts of Jennings and Upton, and a full count to Zobrist, and it results in his 12th home run of the season. 0-2 count on Keppinger, who reached on the fielder's choice in the first. Tough start already with Moore on the mound. Just made it a little bit more difficult, down by 3. This is a tapper back to the mound. And it comes to an end. Zobrist makes it 3-0 with his 12th of the year as we head to the bottom of the third. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball LP. 3-0 Tampa Bay, bottom of the third. Bobby Wilson, Mike Trout, and Torrey Hunter trying to figure out Matt Moore, who's allowed 2 base runners. Infield single to Torrey Hunter in the first, a walk to Callaspo in the second. 4 strikeouts for the left-hander. And the first pitch is in for a strike. Bobby Wilson 2 for 3 last night, 6 for 14 on this homestand. No balls and 2 strikes.
And Moore has a good feel for that curveball so far. It's a very effective pitch for him. We mentioned the velocity he has on that fastball, but for him to be successful, he has to be able to snap that curveball off, and he's done that so far.
And Wilson goes down swinging. That is strikeout number 5. 1 out here to start the third. Pull our Mazda leaderboard with Mike Trout coming to the plate.
Well, Mike Trout has done so much to energize this offense. Leads the American League with that .353 batting average. The only Angel to lead the league in batting average, Alex Johnson, back in 1970.
He's facing a youngster, slightly older, at 23 years of age. Trout's going to be 21 here soon. He's an accomplished pitcher in the minor leagues. As Trout lifts this one in the air to right. Joyce comes charging in. He's under it. And there are 2 outs. But last year, Moore began a season at AA in Montgomery. Went 8-3 in 18 starts. Went to Durham. 9 starts there, 4-0 and a 1.37 ERA. And then pitching 3 games, 1 start in the big leagues last season. 1-0 and a 2.89, but he didn't make noise until the postseason. Pitching 5 games in the postseason, including 2 starts. As Torrey hits one in the air to right. Joyce is there, and the Angels are going to go down in order. 3 in the books, and the Rays maintain their 3-0 lead.
C.J. Wilson been good at times and inconsistent at other times here on the left against Desmond Jennings. Good fastball, got over the front leg, bent his back very well. But then the second pitch against B.J. Upton threw a changeup, did not get all the way through on that pitch, and the changeup runs away from B.J. Upton.
Here in the 4th inning, he'll be facing Roberts, Rodriguez, and Joyce. 3 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 3 strikeouts, and a walk.
That's an example of not getting through the baseball. You hear that a lot with a hitter. Get through the baseball and drive the ball out in front. Same thing as a pitcher. When you're following through, you want to be able to get all the way out in front with your arm, almost where you can go reach out and grab the dirt. But when you're not getting through, you recoil, and that's when the pitch is going to be elevated.
Roberts 0 for 1 with a fly ball to left to end the 1st inning. One ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Down goes Roberts. And Wilson will have to throw down to first to complete the strikeout. One away.
Pretty good sequence there, too. The pitch before curveball. This hard slider from CJ going through the baseball. Perfect angle to be able to see, be able to hide the baseball well, then threw it over the front leg, bending his back, executing a perfect slider to get a swing and miss.
Rodriguez fell behind in the count leading off the second inning, eventually worked a walk. Stole second, went to third on the throwing error by Wilson, and scored on the error by Esturris on a pop-up off the bat of Joyce. No official at bat for Rodriguez. See his numbers as far as starts are concerned around the infield. 2 balls, no strikes. Three and 0. Sean, a former third-round pick of the Angels in 2003. 59 games with the Halos in 08. 12 games in 2009 before being traded to the Rays. As that's a 4-pitch walk. Take a look at our AT&T trivia question for tonight. Which 4 players pitched for the Angels after winning a Cy Young Award for another team? So Rodriguez is on board for the second time. The 2 walks that Wilson has issued have been to Sean. And Joyce looks at a strike. Joyce hit that little pop-up on the left side of the infield. The infield was drawn in, but Esturris kept drifting back on it. Seemed to be a routine out that would have kept Rodriguez at third base. Ended up popping in and out of the glove of Meiser for his 7th error. It's blocked by Wilson on that sweeping breaking ball. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Reacted real well as far as that baseball in the dirt. Up and looking right away. Sean Rodriguez, last time he was on base via the walk, stole second base, advanced to third on a throwing error into the outfield from Bobby. Pretty good sized lead here for Rodriguez.
That game in Baltimore is now final. Oakland defeating the Orioles 6-1. So a loss tonight by the Angels and a little leapfrog action for the Athletics. A's 4.5 back in the West. The Angels 4 back at Texas. Two and 1.
What you're seeing from Mike Scioscia there, a lot of people always inquire, is Mike Scioscia calling the pitches? No, he's basically calling signs as far as dealing with the running game, whether it's going to be a pickoff, pitch out, slide step, whatever it takes to prevent that base runner from getting a big jump against a pitcher.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Joyce. 2 down. Second strikeout of the inning, 5th in the game for CJ.
We spotted this fastball well too for CJ with late movement.
Brooks Conrad, the second baseman, Swings at the first pitch and taps it foul. Conrad went down looking in the second inning. 0 for 1. That was part of the strike him out, throw him out double play in that second.
Conrad's one of those guys that likes to get his arms extended. A long swing. You would think he'd be susceptible to C.J. Wilson's cut fastball, which we haven't seen a lot from C.J. of late. His cut fastball in.
Conrad was with the Brewers earlier this year. There's a slow breaking ball. Catches the corner. 0-2. Rays putting a claim on him. He was on waivers on June 21st. 8th round pick of the Houston Astros in 2001. Oh, 2 upstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch count mounting for CJ. A lot of deep counts once again. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Now 70 pitches thrown, 38 in the strike zone, but 32 out of the zone for CJ so far here with 2 outs in the 4th.
Is yet to have a 1-2-3 inning. Faced 4 in the 3rd inning, 4 in the 2nd. Conrad, the 4th batter here, the 4th. As this one's bounced to short. His Sturris will fire on the Pujols. The inning comes to an end. No runs, no hits, 1 left on. We hit to the bottom of the 4th. The Angels down 3-0.
From AT&T Uverse. Visit AT&T.com/free your TV. Rethink possible. By CarMax. Start the search for your next car at CarMax. CarMax. Start here. And by Hawaiian Gardens Casino. Get your game on.
Halos down 3-0 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. trying to figure out Matt Moore, who's coming off his first 1-2-3 inning and only threw 6 pitches in the third. He was allowed 1 hit, and that was the Torrey Hunter base hit in the first to the shortstop Sean Rodriguez, and he has struck out 5 while walking 1. They'll face 3, 4, and 5 for the Halos here in the fourth. Pujols, Trumbo, and Kendrick.
Well, 2 starts ago, he walked 5 batters. And the start before that, the same thing. And last time that cleaned up his mechanics, no walks and 7 punch-outs.
Albert swinging through the first one. It's 0-1. Moore not shying away, just coming right after Pujols, who struck him out with a couple of fastballs up. No balls and 2 strikes.
You talk about throwing strikes. He's throwing 43 pitches, 34 of them in the strike zone. And only 9 out of the zone for him. You mix in the fact that you can throw 95 with a big curveball, makes it difficult to swing the bat against him. It's at 5-0-2 counts so far in the game here. We're just starting the bottom of the fourth.
Basically, it's the complete opposite of what we've seen from C.J. Wilson. Deep counts, falling behind. That got him in the rib cage.
It's the 5th batter that Moore has hit this year. And when he throws his 4-seam fastball, if there's any slight turn of the wrist, you're going to have that fastball run inside. And that's what got Albert. Right in the ribs. With Pujols is some kind of tough because that got him square on the ribs. Well, sometimes when you're a young pitcher, you hit a batter, especially when you think you're in position to get him out. Even as good as hitter as Albert Pujols is, you hit him, and that doubt creeps into your mind. It's an opportunity for Trumbo, who's had success against Moore. Maybe he gets that fastball that he's not quite thrown inside enough here, and he can turn on it.
1 ball, 0 strikes on Trumbo. Strikeout victim in the first. Broken bat, single to left. And the Angels have the first 2 men on here to start the fourth.
Way after a changeup. The toe tap, the balance. Might have been out in front just enough, but that toe tap right there for Trumbo is the ability to be able to get his balance through the baseball. Gets another base hit in between that hole between short and third. So important. There's certain things hitters do to be able to get their timing right. And that toe tap in the front part for Trumbo is the important thing for him.
Two on, nobody out for Howie Kendrick. The Angels down 3-0 here in the fourth. In and out of the glove of Jose Molina. It's 1 ball, 0 strikes. Howie bounced out to Ryan Roberts at third base. Leading off the seconds, he's 0 for 1. One ball, 1 strike. Two and 1.
A good hitters count, and Howie, we just showed the graphic how well he's hit against the Rays throughout his career. If you're Matt Moore, you got a good fastball, you're going to try to challenge Howie here more than likely, and this is an opportunity for Howie to get a big base hit.
2-2.
You end up throwing him a changeup, but an elevated changeup, a dangerous pitch if you're a pitcher. Got away with one there, up in the strike zone with that pitch at 86.
It's a shallow outfield for the Rays. Jennings, Upton, and Joyce from left to right. Pujols standing at second, hit by a pitch to start the inning. Trumbo at first for the base hit. One down. Now he's chasing a pitch up and out of the strike zone. With one out, runner still at first and second. We'll take a look at our AT&T trivia question once again. Which four players pitched for the Angels after winning a Cy Young Award for another team? None other than Bob Turley, Mike Cuellar, Fernando Valenzuela, and Blackjack McDowell.
Zach Greinke will get the start tomorrow on a Cy Young in 2009 for the Kansas City Royals. He's got outstanding stuff.
Callaspo takes outside for ball one. Alberta with a walk.
Pass hitting 300 from the right side. He's been very quick on that fastball when you throw inside against him, especially from the side of the plate.
And Moore's going to continue to live up there as he continues to get those swings and misses. One and two.
Well, he's been mixing in a more effective changeup too.
The 1-2. This one line to left. Jennings plays shallow. He'll make the catch. Pujols gets back to second. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Vernon Wells. We go back to our Hyundai key to the game.
We talked about Matt Moore doesn't give you many opportunities, so when you get a pitch, you got to be able to smash it, do some damage to it. 13 home runs allowed for Matt Moore, but when he gets on a roll, it's more difficult to make that consistent contact. But Vernon Wells has that type of power here. If he can get that fastball in a spot he wants to drive it, he can tie the game up with one swing.
Vernon struck out of the second. He's 0 for 1. 6 punch outs for Moore. 1 walk. 2 hits allowed. 1 hit batter. Still first and second. It's 1 on ball, no strikes. 3 runs, 3 hits, 2 left on for the Rays. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. Pardon me, 2 errors. And 2 left on for the Angels. That game in Texas in the top of the 8th inning. 5-1 White Sox. Now it looks like they're headed to the bottom of the inning. The 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Off speed pitch. Caught the upper portion of the strike zone. 2 balls and a strike.
He's been able to do that a couple times in this inning, but a dangerous spot up in the strike zone with a changeup at 86. That seemed to be the pitch that Vernon would have a chance of crushing.
Rolls over this one to third. Roberts will go to second base, and the Angels get the first 2 on to start this 4th inning and leave them stranded at first and second. 4 in the books. Rays still up. is up. The Angels with an opportunity to do something against Matt Moore in the bottom of the fourth, but unable to do anything, and leaving their runners stranded at first and second. Slide into a driver's seat of a brand new Chevy or win tickets to an upcoming Angels game for you and 3 friends for official rules and your chance to win. Visit angels.com/Chevy. Nine, 1-2 for the Rays. Molina, Jennings, and Upton. Jose looks at the strike. Molina hit a little tapper, the right side of the mound. So he's 0 for 1. Q shot to second base. 1 away. It's all about energy conservation for Jose going down the line. Back to the top of the order now, Desmond Jennings. Jennings starting the game off with a double, a run scored. Struck out looking to open up the third inning. As a slow breaking pitch is in for a strike.
Well, since CJ saw Jennings swing at that first pitch fastball, that's 2 at bats. Starting him off with a breaking pitch. Aggressive on that first pitch fastball generally.
Two balls and 1 strike. Five strikeouts for Wilson, a couple of walks. As he falls behind here at 3 balls and 1 strike.
The one pitch in this game so far for CJ has had difficulties with has been his changeup. That's the pitch he worked on so much in spring training to be able to refine that pitch and get some quick outs with it, but it hasn't been successful necessarily in the strike zone tonight.
Jennings hits this one out toward left center field, hit pretty well. Trout and Wells getting chased. Trout is there to make the catch. 2 down.
We talk about a guy that can cover so much ground. Mike Trout over in left center field runs it down. I mean, you can see how quick he is. He's not even really in the angle, and he's able to cut that off in front of the wall and make the play. So aggressive and so quick.
Upton fouls off the first pitch, and it's no balls at a strike. Upton 1 for 2 with a single, a stolen base, and a strikeout. That's a base hit through the left side. So 2 out base hit, and CJ still unable to perform the 1-2-3 inning.
Let's take a look at our AT&T U-verse replay. Ben Zobrist had a solid game so far. Sac fly in the first, and then here in the third inning, with 2 outs, dead central for his 12th home run of the year. 41st RBI for Zobrist, and for BJ Upton, early in the count, to think in terms of trying to steal a base here against CJ.
One ball, no strikes on Zobrist, who homered in the third inning. 1 for 1. Sac fly in the first. 2 runs batted into the ball game. 41 RBIs on the year. Tapper foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. There are not too many base runners at first base against C.J. Wilson that are ever fooled or hesitant in getting back to first base. I mean, they get a pretty good read on C.J.'s moves every time.
Well, C.J.'s best defense against the running game is the slide step that he has. He has 3 pickoffs this year, but they're going on first movement when he makes the throw over towards first base. It's something he learned when Cliff Lee was there together as teammates, utilizing the slide step. You don't necessarily have to have a great move if you're a left-handed pitcher, if you can utilize your slide step to be quicker to the plate.
Upton got a good read on it. Good jump. And he picks up a stolen base, his 2nd of the game, 3rd for the Rays.
Well, he had a big jump, no chance for Bobby Wilson. Good throw for him. But Upton gets the foot in there before the tag is applied, all because of the jump. And always been very good as far as reading pitchers, averaging 41 steals over the last 5 years for B.J. Upton.
3 balls and 1 strike. 7th 3-ball count for C.J. Wilson tonight. Jeff Kepinger's on deck. 2 outs here in the 5th. Wilson got the first 2 on a ground down, a fly ball to deep left center field. Single by Upton and a stolen base. And even after the meeting on the mound, still a long look in for Wilson. The 3-1. Breaking pitches in there, full count. Two-out walk. Third issued by Wilson to go with his 5 strikeouts. That'll bring up Keppinger with 2 outs, 2 on. Keppinger's reached on a fielder's choice and tapped one back to the mound, so he's 0 for 2. Upton, the base runner at second base, with Zobrist at first. A good speed on the bases for the Rays. 0-1 count on Keppinger.
This Rays lineup, they have the most walks in the American League, so they do work the count.
This one out toward left field. Vernon comes charging in and toward the line. Makes the catch. The inning comes to an end. As the Rays leave 2 on, we hit at the bottom of the 5th. Still 3-0 Tampa Bay. Trout due up here against Matt Moore, trying to figure him out. And the first two on base in the fourth, and left him stranded at first and second. Meiser grounded out his first time up. That one's down and in. We've seen that kind of pattern from Moore this evening. Fastballs on the inside corner of the right-handed batter should start off a hitter. That one will even the count. And then starts expanding the strike zone. Ground ball to second. One out.
I think what you see out of Matt Moore is he has a good downward plane on the fastball, but also that same motion can go upstairs with that same pitch, fastball upstairs. So you have a fastball down at the knees at 93, then goes upstairs at 95.
Bobby Wilson steps in 0 for 1 with a strikeout.
Well, his best fastball tonight so far 96, and his slowest pitch so far 81, so 15-mile-an-hour differential for him. And throwing a lot of strikes.
Not wasting a whole lot of time either. Wilson just got a piece of that one.
Pretty good curveball just to be able to fight off if you're Bobby Wilson. More than likely now you're going to see Moore go upstairs with a fastball. What makes that curveball so effective is it starts at that same plane as his fastball.
Oh, 2 on the way again. Wilson fouls this one back. Bobby with 4 doubles, 2 home runs, 9 runs batted in on the year. Having a nice homestand. As he pulls this one just over the reach of Ryan Roberts toward the corner. Jennings over to cut it off and misplays it, and Wilson will ends up over at second base.
5th double of the year for Bobby Wilson. Had some good approaches at the plate. He's been able to go up the middle on some pitches and turn on mistakes on the inner half and right down the line over Roberts' head and just inside the line. So 2 doubles and 2 home runs in this homestand.
There's Trout is 0 for 2 with a strikeout, a fly ball to right.
Well, these are the times that Mike Trout has come through so often this year. They needed a big base hit, the energizer for the offense.
Oh, and 2.
Some serious break on that curveball. A lot of times you hear for a curveball 12-6 break straight up and down, but it's more of 11-5 break. Almost a combination of slider and curveball. 7th 0-2 count here for Matt Moore.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Trout trying to talk to himself, chase that fastball in. It's a tough pitch not to go after those, especially since the pitch before, a hard breaking ball in 2.
His sequencing tonight has been just incredible. Matt Moore's, that is, on all the hitters, both righties and lefties.
He's some really bad swings against him because he's not going into any certain pattern.
This one's pulled over to third. Roberts backs up on it, drops it, and sure allows Trout to reach. And it does.
But once he took a step back, he knew at that point he had to hurry his throw and bobbled just enough. There's no way you're going to throw out Trout going down the line at that point, even with that strong arm that Roberts has. Takes a step back, try to plan himself to get that much more on the throw, but there's no way you're throwing out Trout.
They have not made a ruling on it as of yet. I believe if Roberts comes up with it cleanly, even backing up, I think they get him by a step. Bang, bang play. And it's an error on Roberts. He had 7 with the Diamondbacks. So Trout's 0 for 3. The breaking pitch is down low. Torrey 1 for 2. Had an infield single in the first, a fly ball to right in the third. Second straight inning in which the Angels have had 2 men on base. This time with 1 out.
We've seen Moore throw a number of changeups in fastball counts. But he's got a couple of those changeups up over the last inning or so in a very hittable speed at 86.
That one almost got away from Molina. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Jose wants to talk things over with Moore.
Jim Hickey going to go out, the pitching coach for the Rays, to try to quiet down Matt Moore. Mickey has a great rapport with all the young pitchers they have on that staff for the Rays. Trying to find those certain terminologies to get a pitcher back on track. You always hear keep that front shoulder in longer, but there's certain other things that allow you as a pitching coach to be successful with your pitching staff. Whether to keep that front side closed in or get over the front leg, there's certain little things to get you back on track. Alex Cobb did a nice job for him last night through some strikes. Had a good changeup working also.
Two-0 downstairs. 3 balls and no strikes with Pujols on deck.
And this is the difference between being a number 2 spot for Torrey Hunter. Most times Mike Scioscia, he still may give him the green light, but more likely you're going to take a pitch, especially when you have Albert Pujols behind you in the lineup.
Takes a strike. Bobby Wilson standing at second. He had a double. Trout reaching on the error by Roberts, a third baseman. He's at first. Here's a 3-1 pitch. Torrey fouls it off to the right. Full count. Full count with 1 out. 3-2. Outside, they are loaded up for Albert.
Boy, he aimed that changeup. He's had a good release point on that pitch throughout the entire game, but tried to do too much with that pitch and elevated it, walks and brings up Pujols with the bases loaded now.
Albert a strikeout and hit by a pitch. He's been challenged with fastballs, and he takes downstairs for ball one, going with an off-speed pitch to start off this plate appearance. Back-to-back changeups.
You see, that was a much better release point than the last couple he has thrown.
Bobby Wilson standing at third base. Mike Trout at second. Hunter at first. With one out here in the fifth, down 3-0. Rays with solo runs in the first 3 innings, 2 of which are earned. 1-1. Strike on the outside corner at 1-2, and Albert doesn't like the call.
This pitch looked like it might have got the outside corner, and it did, according to our Fox tracks, at 95 on the corner. Virtually unhittable pitch, especially after the pitch before being a changeup.
Here's the 1-2. This one's popped up on the infield fly rule. We think will be called. Phil Cuzzy makes the call. 2 outs. So 2 outs. Bases still loaded for Mark Trumbo. Texas Rangers have lost tonight to the Chicago White Sox 5-2. Oakland has won. So Oakland is at 3.5. A loss by the Angels tonight, and the Halos will remain 4 back and falling into third place.
Interesting to see what Moore does against Trumbo. This at bat, first time up, got him out on all speed pitches. Next at bat, started with a changeup, then threw a fastball in the outer half and hit a ground ball in the hole between short and third. That tells me he may go inside with a fastball. If he does so, Trumbo is so strong and quick on that pitch inside.
Going for the full windup, and here's the first one. It's down in the dirt. Ricochets off of Molina, but not very far. 25 pitches thrown by Moore here in the fifth.
Well, you've mentioned the sequences that Moore has done, not giving hitters too good of looks. I've seen him throw a changeup a lot in these counts. You have to have a lot of confidence in that pitch. Throw a changeup. 1-0 with the bases loaded. He did it to Pujols.
Trumbo with a strikeout and a single. 1 for 2 tonight. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's way inside, and it gets by Molina. Wilson's trying to score. The flip to home, and out at home.
I'm not so sure he ever tagged him.
Moore with a swipe tag, and Phil Cuzzy rings him up. And that's how this inning comes to an end. We've played 5 here at the Big A. And the Rays maintain a 3-0 lead as we see the replay. Still hasn't tagged him. have had some opportunities against that young man right there, Matt Moore. They had 2 on with nobody out to start the last inning. But this past half inning, they had an opportunity. Bobby Wilson still looked like he's safe.
Well, the big thing is it was a good job by Jose Molina running back quickly and throwing in a sweep tag, trying to make the tag by Matt Moore, being in position to be at the plate, which is so important. You've worked on this in spring training as a pitcher. You get towards the plate, you sweep tag. Looked like Bobby got his hand into it. Anytime you see anybody reach back and tag again, that tells you he thinks he missed the tag initially. So the Rays may have gotten a break, but the bottom line is Matt Moore was in position because he came in right away. A lot of times a pitcher, when they throw a pitch like that, stand there and become a spectator instead of going in there and covering the plate.
Roberts Rodriguez enjoys seeing the 6th inning. That's one of those plays as a base runner at third. The base is loaded and a guy at the plate that with one swing of the bat could put you in the lead. You better make sure that you can score whether he tagged him or not.
Got a perfect bounce back, and Jose Molina got back there quickly. But bottom line is Matt Moore was in position to make it a difficult call for Phil Cousy at the plate.
Two balls and 2 strikes.
Boy, but you sure like to see Trumbo up there with the bases loaded, especially with a 2-0 count.
Ground ball to short. Sturris has it. On the way.
Number 1, shortstop, John Rodriguez.
John Rodriguez has walked twice against C.J. Wilson. He's picked up 2 of the 3 base on balls that Wilson has issued tonight. Breaking pitch rolled foul. So Trumbo will lead things off in the bottom of the 6th inning. Three balls and a strike on Rodriguez. Full count.
Give him a cut fastball there to be able to get that in the strike zone. Now, if you're CJ, just throw that 2-seam fastball in the outer half.
This one's fouled back. The count remains full.
Because of the pitch count for CJ, next pitch, we pitch number 100 for him. And now there's some action, some movement down in the bullpen for the Angels. Mike Soch would just like to see CJ get through this inning. Could be his last.
Take a look at our GoPro bullpen cam. Troy Hawkins playing catch in the pen. The Angels down 3-0 here in the 6th inning. Out toward the alley in right center field. Torrey is there. 2 outs. Hey, on August the 11th, when the Angels take on the Mariners, kids 2 to 14 in attendance will receive an Angels lunch bag courtesy of Safe at Home while supplies last. Purchase your tickets today at angels.com or by stopping by the Angel Stadium ticket office. So here's Matt Joyce with 2 outs and the bases clear. Joyce is 0 for 2, reaching on an error and a strikeout. He went around.
Joyce is guessing fastball there. Instead got a hard slider from CJ. Might as well try that exact same pitch.
Just up and away. Bouncer foul. 4 hits for the Rays tonight, 2 of which occurred in the first inning. The double by Jennings on the first pitch of the game. Bunt single by Upton on the second pitch of the game. Home run by Zobrist in the third. A solo shot with 2 outs. And then the base hit with 2 outs in the 5th. And now it's another full count. Swing and a miss. Down goes Joyce. The inning comes to an end. The first 1, 2, 3 for Wilson. We hit the bottom of the 6th. The Angels still down. After his 6 innings, 3 runs, 2 earned, 108 pitches.
6 strikeouts and 6 innings pitched. Still trying to find that consistent release point for him, though. He's certainly made some quality pitches tonight.
Mark Drummond will lead things off. He was at the plate when Bobby Wilson was called out on that wild pitch from Matt Moore. Drummond looks at a breaking pitch outside. Jake McGee is up and loosening now for the Rays. Bouncer to the right side. Conrad is there. So Trumbo 1 for 3 on the night. Here comes Howie Kendrick. 0 for 2 as we take a look at our upcoming schedule.
With a game tomorrow, an afternoon game. Zach Greinke making his debut as an Angel. And then 4 in Texas, 3 in Chicago, and 3 in Oakland. Very difficult road trip coming up for the Angels. They solidified their rotation by bringing in Zach Greinke. Looking forward to seeing him throw tomorrow.
Howie chasing a pitch out of the strike zone. It's no balls at a strike. 0 for 2 today. Ground ball up the middle, and that is by Rodriguez. Seeing a single on an 0-2 count.
A nice approach from Howie, a mistake from Moore. Over too much of the plate, 0-2. Chance expanded. Strike zone did not do so. And Howie was able to hit that ball back through the middle for a base hit.
Caswell bouncing went over to Keppinger, and he'll take it himself. 2 outs. It's Alberto with a walk, a fly ball to left and the ground out. Kendrick into scoring position. Vernon Wells coming up. Wells tonight his return to the starting lineup. 0 for 2. A strikeout and a fielder's choice as that one's in the dirt, dug out by Molina. Halos tonight 0 for 5 with men in scoring position. Rolled over to third. The inning comes to an end as the Angels leave another man in scoring position. 6 in the books. It is 3-0 Tampa Bay. Cheese Bacon Burger, only at Carl's Jr. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network.
AT&T Rethink Possible. And by Dodge. Top of the seventh, the Halos being shut out 3-0 by the Rays. Solo runs in the first 3 innings for Tampa Bay. You saw it, both teams with 4 hits. 3 runs, 2 earned for CJ. 6 strikeouts, 108 pitches. He is scheduled to face 8, 9, and 1 for the Rays here in the 7th. Brooks Conrad, the second baseman, 0 for 2. Strikeout victim in the second, a ground down in the 4th.
Good off-speed pitch for CJ. Mike Scioscia showing some confidence in him.
Well, Troy Hawkins was up listening last inning, and he's playing catch in the pen just in case this inning gets extended.
I think what you're seeing from Mike Scioscia allowing CJ to get out. Any base runner might mean he will go down to the bullpen of a clean inning and to give him a chance to finish it off, though.
2 balls, 2 strikes. There's no action in the Rays pen with Moore at 95 pitches, although we saw McGee up and loosening. A fairly easy 6th inning for Moore. This one's lifted in the air to right. Torrey drifting back on it is there. 1 out. That's the 4th fly ball out for CJ Wilson. As we were talking about that in the pregame show, about getting some more ground ball outs and being more effective. That is his bread and butter. Typically has been his bread and butter.
Yeah, that's what you want to see out of CJ, getting a number of ground balls. But there's been some deep counts against him. And the pitch count is up here so high in the 7th inning.
Molina rolls it foul. That's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jose, a couple of ground outs. 1 back to the mound, 1 to Howie Kendrick. Two and 2. Jennings on deck. 117 pitches for CJ. Season high for him, 125 back on May 22nd against Oakland. Molina rolls this one foul.
The 7th full count in the game for CJ. He's had 9 3-ball counts. 119 pitches thrown, 67 strikes, 52 out of the zone. Not quite the ratio you want as a pitcher.
Did he make contact with that outside the batter's box? No, they're calling it a foul ball. Phil Cuzzi looked like he called him out.
And he got help from
the third base umpire, made the call. Jerry Davis.
And that's the right thing to do. Get some help. And they were right on top of that. Clearly hit him twice.
in the batter's box. Swing and a miss. Down goes Molina. 2 outs. Hey, subscribe to MLB.tv today, and you can see every Angels out-of-market game live online in HD quality. Visit Angels.com to order. Get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. So Mike Scioscia's coming out after CJ's retired the first 2 here to start the 7th, and LaTroy Hawkins will be asked for Desmond Jennings to finish off the 7th. 2 outs here in the 6th. Pardon me, in the 7th. 6 2/3 for C.J. Wilson. 3-0 Rays.
C.J. Wilson, 6 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 runs total. He's not won a game in his last 5 starts. Although quality start for C.J. tonight.
All right, in and out, who's in, who's out. LaTroy Hawkins on a relief with 2 outs here in the 7th, facing Desmond Jennings. Jennings tonight 1 for 3 with a double, a strikeout, a fly ball to center. LaTroy pitching in his 29th game, a 2-2 record, a 1.82 ERA. 1 save on the year. Mentioned LaTroy is a veteran, and he does things that kind of somewhat different. Doesn't come set with nobody on base.
And there's no need to. There's no runner. You're not deceiving any base runner.
He basically, on the second pitch that he delivered a strike on, starting to come set, just kept going.
Like Jim Cott
There
back
it
in
is.
the day. Quick pitch.
Ground ball to third. There it is. Little bobble. Teoscar throws him out. A 1-2-3 inning for the Angels. 7th inning stretch time here at the Big A. 3-0 Tampa Bay. Moore is back out on the mound. He'll be facing 8-9-1 for the Halos. Asturis, Wilson, and Trout. Elliott Johnson takes over at the shortstop position for Sean Rodriguez. Rodriguez, of course, getting the start at shortstop tonight, if you're scoring at home. Asturis looks at the strike.
Rodriguez with a couple walks and playing that shortstop position.
Meister's 0 for 2, a couple of ground outs as he fouls this one back, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. Upstairs, Sean Rodriguez moved from shortstop to second base. So Brooks Conrad is out of the game. McGee's back up and loosening. He's a left-hander. Will Peralta is up as well. Full count.
I think Joe Madden, if Moore walks Asturis here, I think he might go down to the bullpen.
This one fouled off toward the dugout. And I know you got to protect right there. That's a. It would have been ball 4. Pitch up and in.
Talked about in the beginning of the game how difficult it is to square up a baseball against Matt Moore. So when he makes a mistake, you have to capitalize.
Out toward center field. Playable for B.J. Upton. 1 out. Joe Madden's making his way out, and it looks like it's going to be it for Moore, who's at 104 pitches tonight. Bobby Wilson due up. That's Jake McGee, the lefty, going to come on in relief. So one lefty relieving another. Nice start for Moore tonight. Really gave the Angels some fits early on. The Halos have had some opportunities, just never capitalized against them. And he departs after 6 1/3. Pitching change, Rays on top 3-0. Taste, and by Southern California Toyota. Check out the full line of fuel-efficient vehicles at your Southern California Toyota dealer. Back out here at the Big A, the Angels down by the score of 3-0. Matt Moore done after 103 pitches, 6 1/3 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 6 punch outs, and 2 walks. He departs with it out here in the 7th. And Joe Madden has brought on Jake McGee, the 25-year-old, to relieve Moore. McGee pitching in his 45th game. 3-2 record, a 2.76 ERA.
Yeah, he's got 40 punch outs in 32 2/3 innings pitched. Fastball, power fastball, 93 to 97. Also will throw a slider and changeup. Majority of his pitches will be fastballs.
Bobby Wilson with 1 out steps in. Bobby swings through the first one. Wilson 1 for 2. He doubled in the 5th inning and then was called out at the plate to end that 5th inning. That was a bases loaded 2 out situation. A wild pitch uncorked by Moore. They got by Molina. Bobby dove in head first as he fouls this one off the right. Phil Cuzzy, the home plate umpire, calling him out. Replay showing that Moore swiped and missed, and then eventually went back and applied a tag, but after Bobby crossed the plate, but still called out.
And Moore did a great job of really never falling into a repeatable sequence of pitches throughout the entire game. It's made it difficult for the hitters to look for something against him.
Trout's on deck. 2 outs. Trout coming to the plate.
Number 27, center fielder, Trout.
Trout will step in. He's 0 for 3 tonight. A strikeout, a fly ball to right, reached on an error. First one's down low. It's 1 ball, no strikes. McGee last year 37 games with the Rays. 5-2 record, a 4.50 ERA. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. 5th round selection in 2004.
Mentioned his 40 strikeouts, now 41 for him in 33 innings, pitches 8 walks.
Two and one. Two outs and nobody on. A 2 ball, 2 strike count on Trout. Full count. But nothing like being behind a plate on a 98-mile-per-hour fastball that short hops the catcher.
Let's hope it finds the glove somehow. There's really nothing you can do as a catcher.
Here's the 3-2, and this one's lifted down the right field line. Keppinger runs out of room, so the count remains full at 3-2. Jerome Williams loosening. Weren't with us earlier. Zach Greinke will make his Angels debut tomorrow afternoon, 12:35 start here against the Rays. Then the Halos kick off that road trip on Monday in Texas. Urban Santana will get the starting 9 on Monday night. As a 3-2 is cut on and missed, and Trout goes down striking out. The second time of the ballgame, the Angels go down in order. 7 in the books, 3-0 Rays. Ball game. Matt Joyce popping one up. This was already with the Rays up by the score of 1-0. Meister Sturas bobbles the baseball, drops it. John Rodriguez scores, makes it 2-0. Ben Zobrist with 2 outs and nobody on a 3-2 count, hits a home run over the fence in straightaway center field to make it 3-0. And the Angels had an opportunity to get one of those runs back. Bobby Wilson diving in on a pass ball called out by Phil Cuzzy. You just saw the swipe tag and then a second tag by Moore, but Wilson, as far as we know, as we start this 8th inning, was still called out by Phil Cuzzy. 3-0. Tampa Bay leads it. Jerome Williams comes on in relief of LaTroy Hawkins, who went 1/3 of an inning, as he induced a ground ball out off the bat of Desmond Jennings.
Yeah, threw very well his last time in relief against Kansas City. No walks, 3 punch-outs. 4 innings, shutout baseball.
They'll be facing Upton, Zobrist, and Keppinger here in the 8th. Mentioned earlier that Texas losing tonight to the Chicago White Sox by the final of 5-2. The Tigers lost tonight to Toronto 5-1, and Cleveland lost. So the White Sox get to extend their lead as this one's lifted out toward right center field and playable for Torrey. And there's out number 1. The White Sox now a 2.5 game lead over the Tigers, 5.5 over Cleveland. And the White Sox fortifying their rotation a little bit by acquiring left-hander Francisco Liriano from the Minnesota Twins.
It's a pretty good pickup.
Yeah, they gave up infielder Eduardo Escobar and left-hander Pedro Hernandez. Francisco, 28 years of age, did not have a very good start the last time out. Got knocked around, very inconsistent since coming back from Tommy John surgery.
Has thrown a no-hitter in his career.
Good arm as this one's lined to third, 2 outs. So he'll join that rotation. Jake Peavy and Chris Sale. Sale's velocity was down a little bit yesterday against Texas, but good enough to.
Yeah, that's something they're going to have to keep an eye on, because he's been, last year came up, he was a closer for the White Sox, now back in the rotation. This season been very, very good, the All-Star. But you wonder, as the pitch count and innings keep the mount for Sale, that is he going to be getting that velocity consistently up there in the mid-90s?
Halos will be facing the Chicago White Sox next weekend for a 3-game series after 4 against Texas.
Well, they had been struggling for a bit. Now they've won 5 in a row.
1 ball, 1 strike. Mentioned that rotation for the Angels against Texas. Irvin Santana, Jared Weaver, Dan Herron, C.J. Wilson for those 4 games. All 4 night games. Check swing. It's a strike. The Angels in jeopardy of falling behind Oakland and into third place. Last time the Halos were in third place, May 25th. They won that May 25th game. That was part of that winning streak on that road trip, and then moved into second place. It's been there since. That pitch, this is up and in, full count. Ground ball to short as Sturris has it. And Jerome Williams has himself a 1-2-3 eighth. We head to the bottom of the eighth. The Angels with Hunter, Pujols, and Trumbo coming up, down 3-0. Nothing as we start this bottom of the eighth inning. A new pitcher on the mound and a new first baseman. Carlos Pena is the first baseman, taking over for Jeff Keppinger, who just grounded out to end the top of the inning. And Joel Peralta, the former Angel, is on the mound.
Peralta fastball, 86 to 91, curve slider, and split finger fastball.
47th game, a 1-3 record, a 4.15 ERA for Peralta.
When looking at his numbers, though, an ERA over 4. The opponent's only hit 186 against him. He's throwing strikes, but he has given up home runs, 7 in 39 innings pitched.
Of course, Peralta kind of making some news in their series against the Washington Nationals. He was ejected for having a foreign substance on his glove. And Torrey Hunter rips a base hit on the very first pitch, so the Angels get their leadoff man on board. Just the second time in the ballgame that has occurred. Pujols hit by a pitch in the fourth. Torrey, a 2-hit game, a 7-game hitting streak, 2 for 3 tonight. Brings up Albert. Halos this year have found it hard to come from behind late in a ballgame. They are 1-37 on the year when trailing after 7 innings. As the first one is down and away. And it's 1 ball, no strikes.
Certainly got the right part of the order to be able to mount a comeback here with Pujols followed by Trumbo. After that, And Howie Kendrick following Trumbo.
Albert a strikeout, hit by a pitch and a pop-up. He popped up too with the bases loaded situation with one out in that 5th inning. Right before Bobby Wilson was called down at the plate. Good hitters counted, 2 balls and no strikes. Peralta originally with the Oakland Athletics. Signed with the Angels as a minor league free agent in '99. Got to the big leagues, the Halos in '05. 2-0 pitch. 3 balls and no strikes. Spending time in Kansas City, 06, 07, and 08. The Rockies in '09. The Nationals in 2010, who perhaps had a little history on Peralta. And maybe that's why they called him out. And now in his 2nd season with the Rays. Good numbers last year. 71 games for the Rays, a 2.93 ERA. Behind in the count after giving up the leadoff single to Torrey. It's 3 balls and no strikes on Albert. 3-1. Trumbo's on deck.
Peralta really, when he delivers a baseball, falls over towards first base. And what it does is allow you as a hitter to be able to track the baseball a lot longer than somebody who stays and hides the ball like Ernesto Frieri. Very difficult to pick up. The more you fall off towards that first base side, the more that baseball is going to be able to be tracked, especially a power hitter like Pujols.
Breaking pitch, chopped towards short. Elliott Johnson's only plays to first, 1 out. So Hunter now at 2nd base with 1 out. Trumbo coming up. Mark 1 for 3, had a single in the 4th. Oh, and 1. Peralta very, very slow and deliberate out on the mound. Getting a shine and delivering the pitch. Ahead of the count here on Trumbo, 0-1. One ball, 1 strike. Hunter with a big lead over at 2nd base with 1 out. The Angels down 3-0. Off the end of the bat, foul. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Back-to-back split finger fastballs. Utilizing his changeup.
Howie Kendrick on deck. Two outs.
They ran a fastball inside after a couple all-speed pitches in a row. Locates this 91-mile-an-hour fastball on the inner half and ties up Trumbo.
So Hunter still standing at second base with two outs. Cowie 1 for 3 tonight with a single in the 6th inning. Angels tonight 0 for 7 with men in scoring position. Breaking ball is in for a strike. This series wraps up tomorrow afternoon at 12:35. Jeremy Hellickson going for Tampa Bay. Zach Greinke making his Angels debut. And I mentioned the rotation for the Halos in Texas. The Rangers will feature the following guys. Howie takes that one outside. 1-1. Right now it's listed as Oswalt, Holland, Darvish, and Harrison. Harrison pitched tonight. Oswalt was scheduled to pitch on Sunday, but giving him an extra day. Harrison took the loss tonight for Texas. 1-2. Mentioned this is a pretty good Tampa Bay Rays pitching staff, second in the American League in ERA. The reliever is 12-12 with a 3.30. Ernie.
Well, Howie's been chasing some breaking pitches in the dirt of late. And then followed up, a lot of times the pitcher will go upstairs with a fastball after making Howie aware of that breaking pitch in the dirt.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Howie lifts one down a line. This one's going to slice into the seats. Torrey with a leadoff single to start this 8th inning. Pujols with a ground down advance runner to second base. Trouble with a strikeout. Angels have had one base runner reach third. Now it's Bobby Wilson in the 5th inning before he was thrown out at the plate. 3 solo runs, 2 earned for the Rays in the first 3 innings. Just got a piece of it. Brought to quick pitch action.
And a split finger fastball he threw.
Count remains at a ball and 2 strikes. Everything in the American League is a final. Everything in the National League is a final. This one still in the 8th. Blue Jays defeating the Tigers. Red Sox over the Yankees. Seattle edging out Kansas City 4-3. Oakland over Baltimore 6-1. Minnesota. Is that 2 nights in a row? Minnesota in double digits. 12-5 winners over the Indians. And the White Sox 5-2 over Texas. This one getting in, closing in on that 3-hour mark for a 3-0 game. A lot of pitches thrown. Here's the 1-2 again. A swing and a miss. Kendrick goes down. Strikeout is completed on the throw down. The Angels get their leadoff man on board and leave him in scoring position. 8 in the book, still 3-0 Tampa Bay. Starting pitchers for tomorrow.
Jeremy Hellickson going for the Rays. 5-6 mark with a ERA 3.42 against Zach Greinke making his debut as an Angel. 9-3 this year for Milwaukee with an ERA 3.44. The 2009 Cy Young Award winner for the Kansas City Royals. Hellickson with a very, very good changeup. Similar pitcher to Alex Cobb, but a little bit better location with his fastball. The reigning Rookie of the Year.
Jerome Williams out for a second inning of work, facing Ryan Roberts, John Rodriguez, and Matt Joyce. Here in the 9th. No balls and 2 strikes on Roberts. The third baseman is 0 for 3. A fly ball to left, a strikeout, a ground ball to short. The Halos looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning. We'll have Callaspo, Wells, and Asturis. Kendrys Morales, of course, available. And it'll be Fernando Rodney, who is loosening right down the pen, coming on. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Down goes Roberts. There's out number 1. So 4 up and 4 down for Jerome.
A nice job as far as getting ahead of the count. His cut fastball has been very effective in this game so far, coming out of the bullpen for the Angels.
Oh, 1 count on John Rodriguez, who got the start at shortstop, playing second base in the last couple of innings. And Jerome ahead of the count at no balls and 2 strikes. C.J. Wilson getting to start tonight. 3 runs, 2 earned, 6 2/3, 7 strikeouts, 4 hits, including the home run to Zobrist. As Rodriguez rolls it foul. Still 1-2. Troy Hawkins 1/3 of an inning, and Jerome Williams now in his second inning of work.
Throwing a good fastball, too. Not only his cut fastballs, but good that fastball at 93 with good sink action.
Still at a ball and 2 strikes. Matt Joyce, the right fielder, on deck. Breaking pitch just missed in. And it's 2-2. 4 hits tonight for the Rays, 5 for the Angels. Full count. J.P. Howell is up now, a lefty. Called strike 3. Down goes Rodriguez. 2 outs.
Another well thrown fastball from Williams at 94. Starts it off the outside corner and then catches just the outside part of that plate to get the punch out. Couple of this inning already for Jerome.
Joyce takes that pitch inside. And it's 2-0. Ground ball to second. Howie's got it. Nice job by Jerome Williams. See if the Angels offense can do something against Fernando Rodney. We head to the bottom of the 9th. The Halos down 3-0. Nothing. You hear some boos in the background. That's because Fernando Rodney, the former Angel, has been introduced. The all-star closer for the Tampa Bay Rays comes on here to face Teoscar Wells and his Sturis, barring a pinch hitter. 46 games now. This will be his 46th. A 2-1 record, a .81 ERA.
And 28 saves and 29 opportunities. 45 strikeouts for Fernando this year and 44 2/3 innings pitched, but only 7 walks. That was an issue. Control, command of the strike zone. The stuff is there as far as the velocity of the fastball. 93 to 98, an occasional slider, but a very good plus changeup for Fernando.
Teoscar tonight with a walk, a fly ball to left, and a ground out at first base. 0-1 count. That good fastball from Rodney. As a member of the Angels, just lack command.
Always seem to be behind in the count. His pace, walking guys.
Off speed, lifted in the air toward right center field. B.J. Upton is there. One out. So that'll bring up Vernon Wells. Vernon tonight getting his first start back off the disabled list, 0 for 3. One ball, no strikes. One ball, one strike. Rodney now also with a more modified approach to coming set, especially with nobody on base. Kind of like we were talking about with LaTroy.
Veteran pitchers figure out different little routines to be able to throw off the timing of a hitter.
Lifted in the air to left center field. B.J. Upton is there. 2 outs. So the Halos down to the last down here with Meister Stewart coming up. Angels will remain 4 games back in the American League West. With a loss tonight, Oakland will leapfrog the Angels into second place, 3.5 back as they pick up a game with their win and Texas lost.
Well, that changeup is fantastic when he can get ahead of the count at 85 miles an hour. Has great action on it too as it comes through the strike zone.
Here's the 0-2 downstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Meister 0 for 3. 2 ground outs and a fly ball to center. C.J. Wilson will take the loss. His record will drop to 9-7 on the year. Matt Moore will even up his mark at 7-7. This is a save opportunity for Rodney. Here's the 1-2. Out back. 12:35 start tomorrow. Zach Greinke, his Angels debut against Jeremy Hellickson. And the Angels head out on the road. 10-game road trip. Texas, Chicago, and Oakland. Two and 2.
Won't be surprised if Kim's right back with another changeup right here. A couple fastballs. That changeup he tried to overthrow.
Sturis waves at the off-speed pitch, and the Angels go down very quietly here in the 9th as the Rays shut out the Angels by the final of 3-0.
Ben Zobrist did some damage on the offensive side. Sacrifice fly in the first inning, a home run in the 3rd, and Matt Moore was the story. Just outstanding stuff. Very talented young left-handed pitcher, was great in his 6 1/3 innings pitch. No runs allowed, and Fernando Rodney is 29th save.
Rays take game 2, sets up the rubber game of the series tomorrow afternoon. 3-0 to final. As we leave you from the Big A, we'll turn things over to Chris McGee. Jose Mota tips out with Angels Live post-game edition. That is coming up next.